Hi friends! So this is my very first Facebook Live. So hopefully I've worked out all the technical difficulties here. I know I'm a few minutes late going live, but hopefully I've got everything all sorted out now. I've been really wanting to do Facebook Live for a while now. You know, my coaching focuses on visibility and being more visible, and so it seems a little hypocritical for me not to be on Facebook Live. And honestly, it's because when I work from home, I generally am in a tank top and yoga pants, and I put my hair up in a bun on the top of my head, and I don't wear makeup. And the idea of having to make myself presentable so that I can get on and do a video has always been a little overwhelming. But I had to get dressed up today for somewhere I am going later this afternoon, so I thought as long as my hair and makeup are already done, I should do my first Facebook Live. So here I am. And you know, I wouldn't be so concerned about what you look like when you're doing video, whether it's Facebook Live or if you're doing Periscope or maybe you're doing video ads or whatever you're doing to be more visible in front of people. To be perfectly honest, the reason I worry about it, maybe you've seen going around on Facebook or the internet for the past week, these mean tweets that were being read to female sports broadcasters, Julie DeCaro and Sarah Spain. And that's the main reason why I always try to look presentable when I do put myself out there, because the sort of other part of my life is as a sports business analyst. I am currently with Forbes. I also write for Outkick the Coverage on foxsports.com. I do video work for Campus Insiders, and people are brutal. When it comes to being a female sports broadcaster, some of the things that we get by email and tweet and other platforms are just, they're terrible. They really are. So I think that that gets in my head a little bit, and I think about people taking this video and putting it out there and pointing out all my flaws, because I've had that happen before. So anyway, makeup, hair, I'm here, ready to go. So what I said I was going to talk to you guys about today is this idea that I keep hearing from both other coaches that I'm friends with, people that I am coaching, and just others that I sort of interact with in this online entrepreneur world, who are expressing to me feelings of frustration or even shame that they're not working in their business full time. And we all see the ads out there or the people in Facebook groups who are talking to you about how they made $10,000 in 1 month, or $50,000 in 90 days, or whatever their numbers are. And I'm not disputing that those are their numbers, but I don't think that people always do a great job of sort of pulling back the curtain and telling you how they got there. I seriously doubt that they came up with the idea for their business today and 30 days from now they were making $10,000. Most of the people I've met who have shared those metrics and who have had that big success, maybe it was 30 days after they started working with a coach, or 90 days after they started working with a coach, or whatever they're saying, but that wasn't the first day they came up with their business. I promise you that those people were already working on their businesses. They already had some idea of what they wanted to do. They had already been doing some things by trial and error. I know a lot of people change their business model as they go through courses and webinars and interact with coaches who can help them and show them the way. I know that that's happened for me. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that transition from full-time job to running your own business, or maybe even you're changing from one type of business to another. I know I just spoke with someone yesterday and they're already working for themselves, but they're really shifting the kind of people they want to work with. So same sort of situation. I've actually gone from full-time job to working for myself twice now. I was a practicing corporate attorney who was hired away by ESPN in 2011 to be their sports business analyst. And when I left ESPN, I spent some time out on my own. So I sort of have made a weird transition from like full-time corporate attorney to being the sports business analyst at ESPN, where I technically worked for them full-time, but worked from home and made my own schedule and did some freelance stuff on the side. And then when I left them, I went to doing freelance work on the side completely. At the time I was just writing. I was doing a little bit of coaching, but nothing like the kind of coaching that I do now. And then about a year ago, I made another transition. I had gone to work for a content marketing agency full time as a writer, was also doing a little bit of my sports business analyst work on the side, and decided to go out on my own again and to pursue coaching a little more. And I've even changed my mind about what kind of coaching I'm doing since I first began. And so it wasn't an overnight sort of thing for me. Hi, Veronica. I don't know, Veronica, are you here in town yet? I know you're headed my way to come stay on this beautiful little island where I live. So I'm excited about you being here, and I hope we get to actually see each other in person. It's so much fun to have people in the group who I actually know in real life, IRL. So anyway, the conversations that I keep having with some of my other coaching friends and some of my clients is this frustration or shame around not being able to work on their business full time. Okay, so I understand the frustration. You're so excited about your new business. You really want to be out there working on your business all the time. I'm like that. I wake up in the morning, I have ideas I want to implement right away. Sometimes I can't because I've already got client commitments or I've got phone calls or whatever for the day. So I understand that frustration, and I know it's tough when you're working at 9 to 5 to try to find that time to devote to your business. I have always started setting up my business while I still have my full-time job. I'm not a big risk taker. I think maybe that's why I became a lawyer, because I'm a rule follower. I'm not a risk taker. I do take risks in my business. It's funny, my husband and I had this conversation recently because I say I'm not a risk taker, but yet I have left full-time jobs and gone out on my own, and I take business risks, but I'm somewhat calculated about it. So I do start working on my business before I leave my full-time job. And for me, you know, I need that to feel comfortable. I need to continue to have that income stream as I start up my business. So I've been there, and I know a lot of you that's why you stay in your jobs, whether it's for the salary or it's for the benefits, or why you're staying in that full-time job. And I think that's fine. And I think if you talk to most people out there who are online entrepreneurs, most of them started their business while they were working somewhere else, okay? Incredibly common. It's just not what people get online and talk about. So you see their posts where they're saying they made $10,000 in the last 30 days, you know, they did this mindset shift and it totally changed their life and blah, blah, blah. And you think that there's this like thing you're missing, that some sort of like magic formula you're missing, or some coach you haven't hired, or you know, something you haven't done that overnight is going to change your business. And that's not true. Now there's certainly resources out there that are going to help you up level faster and help you get out of your full-time job and into working on your business much faster than you can do on your own. And I have availed myself of that. I've done courses, I've done webinars, I've paid, I'm on my third different coach. They've each had different specialties. So I absolutely believe in those things. But if you ask those people how they got their start, I promise you, they were not some overnight success who came up with their idea, quit their job, and in the next 30 days made 10K. That's not how it works, okay? Most people are still doing stuff on the side. So don't get frustrated and don't be ashamed. Okay, I've talked to 2 different people recently who told me there's this like sense of shame around the fact that they're still having to take, maybe it's freelance work, or maybe they're still working in their full-time job, that they're still having to do things outside of their business to make money. Do not be ashamed by that, okay? I consider myself as working for myself and in my coaching business full-time, and I still take on freelance stuff sometimes because you know what? To be honest, it pays really well sometimes. I recently had someone who found me through my LinkedIn profile and wanted me to write something for their business. It was something that I know it's in my wheelhouse. It would be easy for me to write, and they offered me $2,500 to write it. You think I didn't take that and I didn't write it? Who cares that it's not related to my coaching business? At the time, I had time and I was able to fit it into my schedule. It was a subject I knew really well, so it wasn't like I was really going to be grinding on it. And it was $2,500. Of course I took it. And do I feel ashamed? No. You know, that will allow me to go on an extra vacation this year, make an extra payment on my student loan, which is so boring, but it'll allow me to do something. And it's not uncommon for me to take those kind of opportunities. So okay, I want to give you the advice that I gave someone just yesterday, okay? I was speaking to someone who I won't out here because I didn't ask her for permission, but she is transitioning from one sort of service offering to another. So she already works for herself, already has her own business, but she's transitioning from one to the other. And she's having a difficult time deciding, you know, she still has people coming to her for her old business, and she's trying to decide, should she keep taking those clients because she needs the money, Or should she really stop taking those clients and focus only on her new business? And the advice that I gave her was sort of twofold, okay? One, I'm always willing to listen to people when they want to offer me one-off opportunities to make money. So like the article that I just told you about, I did some consulting with a group last month that has nothing to do with my business, but has to do with some expertise I have in the sports world. It paid incredibly well. It only took me a couple of days to do. It was research I already had. Total no-brainer to take that. So I will take one-off projects if I have the time in my schedule, if I'm willing to give up a little of my weekend time, or maybe my client load is a little less that week, I will take one-off projects in those instances. And so I encouraged her, if you get these opportunities to do one-off sort of things for people, absolutely take it to get you by until your new business is up and running. The other thing I told her is she can keep taking clients in her sort of old business, which is kind of general VA, virtual assistant kind of work. And then as she transitions, she can find other people who could take over that work and work under her, and she could make money for essentially doing nothing. So this happens a lot in the freelance world. I see with writers, and I have worked with writers in this capacity before because much of the work that comes to me is for ghostwriting, where I will hire a ghostwriter. I have one I work with right now, and I am 100% transparent with her, okay? I tell her exactly how much money I'm getting from the client for that written product, and I split it with her 50-50. And she's totally cool with that. She doesn't want to make the whole 100%. She gets that I put in effort to get that client, bring them in the door. I'm the one who's invoicing them and taking care of contracts and all that kind of stuff. I'm the final edit sometimes before it goes to the client. She doesn't want to go out and get clients on her own. She's very introverted. She's not interested in going out and finding clients. She loves that I just hand her work and that she can essentially just be the workhorse and do the stuff that she loves, which is writing. Okay, so I make money on her every month. I do very little for that client anymore because she produces exceptional product and I don't have to spend a lot of time editing it or anything like that. So for example, with one client, they pay $1,000 a month for ghostwritten blog posts. I give her $500, I keep $500. I make $500 a month doing nothing, okay? Now, I started out where I was the writer for this client. I was the one who produced all of their content. And now I have turned that over to her. So if you're in a business where that's possible, so the woman I was speaking to as a VA business is moving over to coaching, but she could certainly outsource that VA work down the road when she's ready to make that transition and fully move over to her other business. She could find another VA to work under her, and let's say she was charging the client $45 an hour, and maybe she's able to pay that VA $30 an hour, or maybe you're charging the client $30 an hour, but you find a VA who will work for $20 an hour, and then you get to keep that margin. Okay, so to me, that's a great way to transition from one business to another and to scale and still be able to make money off of it. I mean, ultimately, you could pass those clients off to somebody else and just be done with it altogether. That's an option too. But I obviously love the option where you get to make money and keep that margin without really doing any work. There are only so many man hours in the day. And so there are some limitations on the amount of money you can make if you're making all your money from your own time. Okay, so if everything requires you to be the one doing it and everything's based on the number of hours that you put in, there is a limit on how much money you can make. Where there's not a limit on how much money you can make? If you have passive sources of income, you're selling courses or ebooks, or you've got people working under you who are generating work products that you are able to sell for more than what you have to pay them to do the work. And I'm really transparent with the people I work with. I tell them how much money the client is paying me and how much of that they're getting. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not, taking money from them. I'm very transparent with them about what's happening. So, the bottom line is I don't think that you should feel ashamed if you're still having to take work outside of your sort of core primary business. If that's what you need to do to get by right now, do it. But don't let that hold you back from working on your new business. The advice I gave to this person yesterday who's trying to move from VA work to coaching was block out time in your schedule every week that is just for working on your business. So I do it on Tuesday afternoons and Friday afternoons. Generally speaking, I make exceptions for emergencies and that sort of thing, but generally speaking, I do not book phone calls during those hours. I don't schedule client work to do during those hours. I block up those hours and I work on my website. I work on my social media. I'm watching webinars that I've downloaded that week that might help me up level my business. I am focusing on my business during those hours. I might also sneak some of that work into the weekend. I'm lucky that my husband's very entrepreneurial as well, and he has things he's working on. And so we might sit together at the kitchen table, and our spending time together might be sitting at that kitchen table with our laptops, each working on our own businesses. We don't have children, so I'm sure that that affords us time that maybe some of you don't have because you have children that you are shuttling around and entertaining and that sort of thing. But it's all about making the time in your schedule and blocking that time out to work on your business. So if you're still having to work in a full-time job or you're still having to work in another business, just make sure you're blocking that time out. But don't feel ashamed. And I think you'll feel less frustrated once you're blocking that time out for yourself and you feel like you're still getting things done in your business. Veronica, I see that you're still here, and hopefully I get a chance to see you while you're here in town. And for the rest of you, I know a lot of you are going to end up watching this on replay. It's my first live, and from now on, I'll try to give you more notice about when they're going to be. I would love to get on a schedule where I do them like certain days of the week at certain times, but we'll see. I need to work on my scheduling a little bit and see how I can fit that in and make that happen. But if you're watching on the replay and you have a question, just leave me a question in the comments, and I will be going through and answering all those questions. I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me for my first Facebook Live. Have an awesome weekend. Bye, guys.